Hello, this is Shaping Clay. This is the 14th of May, and it is also Mother's Day, which you can see I am attired formally because it's Mother's Day. It's a T-shirt, but still, the fact is, I at least was formal, and I'm very proud of Tim today because he put a shirt on. That was that was him being formal, and so that's good for him. And his pants, he had pants on too. That's very encouraging for him, especially for him. So anyway, we're looking at a continuation of what we were looking at last week. We were in the Old Testament last week. This week we're in the New Testament. What we decided to do is we're looking at the I am characteristics of God. And so what we did was we looked at 7 I am passages that Jesus used in the book of John. So that's it. Just the 7 I am passages that he used in the book of John. Now he said I am 23 times, but he said I am, usually it was just I am, that I am he. I am the one you're looking for. I am that. But 7 times he said I am, and then he said something that was very, very specific. And so, of course, we can't exhaust all that Jesus is, but this is an amazing study because you've got 7 characteristics thrown together in one book of the Bible. It's pretty cool. So we looked at it today. And so here are the 7 characteristics found in the book of John. First of all, chapter 6, verses 35, 41, 48, and 51, all 4 times says, I am the bread of life, or I am the living bread, or I am the bread of heaven. He said he was bread. Bread is something you consume, something you eat, and it becomes a part of who you are. But he said, I'm not manna. I'm better than manna. Because remember, the children of Israel ate manna and they died. But when you eat this meat, me, I'm the bread of life. When you eat this, you don't die. As a matter of fact, it changes. It's a complete transformation, which is what he gave us every single time. A complete transformation is what he gives us. And so that was the first thing that we looked at. He is the living bread. He is the bread of life. When we do the Lord's Supper, we are celebrating that aspect, that quality. We're celebrating how Jesus is his broken body, his poured out blood. We drink that. We're taking into us the living bread, the living wine. He is becoming a part of us, and we celebrate that together as a body. Anyway, so it was a really cool study. Second thing we looked at is found in chapter 8, verse 12. And that's that he says, after the lady that was caught in adultery, remember they brought her up to him and they said, Moses says we should stone her. What do you say? And he said, of course, I say, he who's without sin cast the first stone. And then he just stooped down and started drawing in the dirt with his finger. And we have no idea what he wrote. There's a lot of speculation. We talked a little bit about that, but the main thing we talked about was how when that was all over and he said, I know neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. The very next thing it says, I am, ego eime, I am the light of the world. He is the world's total illumination. So we looked at light from a scientific perspective, which was really cool because even that points to the Almighty God, the perfection of who God is. And if you weren't there, you missed that one. That was cool. Anyway, so we looked at that, and then we talked about how he really is. He gives light no matter what belief you have, no matter what religion you can study. None of them give the full illumination of where we came from, how you should live, and where we're going, and the importance of what life's about, except through Jesus Christ. He and he alone gives that. He is the light of the world, the purest of all illumination. And so we talked about that. The third thing, it's actually the third and the fourth. We're looking at both of those together because he said it in the same passage found in chapter 10. Verses 1 through, I think, 14. I'm not positive, maybe 15. Anyway, verse 7 says, I am the door of the sheep. Not of the fold, but of the sheep. He is the door of the sheep. And he also says that in verse 9, I am the door. He repeats it. So that along with the phrase, very common, very popular, I am the good shepherd. That's the fourth characteristic. I'm the good shepherd. That's found in verse 11 and verse 14 of chapter 10. So you've got the door of the sheep and you've got the good shepherd. And we talked about how a shepherd is so different than like a pastor. A shepherd cares. He doesn't just preach at you, he cares. But he also has two tools. He has a staff. He uses that to ward off enemy, like the wolves or lions or other things that want to come after the sheep. But he also has the rod. And what's that for? That's for discipline. He loves us enough to discipline us when we need it. And that's exactly what a good shepherd does. And so we talked a lot about that. It was really, really good. And because we didn't have to hurry to get out of the restaurant, we stayed a while. It was a long service. So 3 and 4, the door to the sheep. Oh, the door. Literally, the shepherd would lay in the doorway when he slept at night. There's no way you could get to the sheep unless you came through that doorway. And you had to go through the shepherd. He literally lays down the sacrifices he makes for his sheep. That was one of the things that my wife pointed out. It was just heartwarming to realize all the different studies that came with all of our group this Sunday. It was phenomenal. So we talked about the good shepherd and the door. And then the fifth thing is that Jesus said after or before he raised Lazarus from the dead in chapter 11, he said, I am the resurrection and the life. Now look, Martha thought that what he was saying was, oh, okay, I know he's going to resurrect in the last days, but Jesus was saying, no, you've only got part of the picture. You only understand part of what I'm saying. I am the resurrection. And let me just say what that means. You see, because in us all is a dead spirit. We are dead, not partially dead, not kind of dead, not Princess Bride, almost dead, mostly dead. We are dead in our trespasses, and we are dead. We're talking doornail dead. And so Jesus touches, he quickens that part of us, and we become alive. He's the resurrection and the life. And we don't have to wait till the end times. We don't have to wait till after we die. The moment we put our trust in him, we are resurrected. We are made alive. He is the resurrection and the life. And that was what he was trying to get across to Martha and to Mary. And he used their brother, Lazarus, rising from the dead to illustrate this very deep and very important concept that he is the resurrection and the life. He's the transforming agent in every single characteristic. And then the next thing that we looked at was the very famous passage, I am the way, the truth, and the life. It's the comprehensive personal self-declaration of who Jesus is. And that was, to me, one of the most important because he gives us all that we need to know. He gives us, first of all, the way, the direction we need to go, how we get to where we're going. Number 2, he is the truth. There's so many people that say they think they know the truth or they're trying to tell you what to believe or tell you what to think. And they're all totally backwards most of the time. Some of them have only an essence of truth or a bit of truth. But Jesus not only has truth, he is truth, embodiment of truth. Everything about him, everything he says, everything about his life, everything about Jesus is truth. So he's the way, the truth, and as he already said in chapter 11, I am the life. He is the life, the way to live. How do you live your life? This is how you live your life, according to the words of Jesus, according to the example of Jesus. I mean, it was just perfect, absolutely perfect illustration, a full declaration of who he is. I am the way, and not a way. He's not a way. He's the way. I'm not a truth. He is the truth. I am not a life like there's other lives. He is the life. There is no other. Every other thing you try will not compare, and it will not satisfy, and it will not give you eternal life with the Creator who made you. So that's what he said. And then the last one was found in chapter 15, and it is, I am the true vine. Now this one was unique. The other 6 all said who he was and how that impacted him. I'm the door. I lay down my life for the sheep. I am the bread of life. I'm the one that I'm not like manna, because those that ate manna died in the wilderness, but I give life. So he was all about who he is and what he does. And so he's saying these things. But when he did the vine, he said, I am the true vine. And then he talked about how we're to make fruit. Now I know that the first thing you may think is, oh, we got to try real hard to make fruit. Whoa. He made it real clear about how that worked. But what he said was, make fruit, and then he said, so that you might make more fruit, and then he said that you might make much fruit. So the whole thing about him being the true vine was because we have an obligation, and that's to bear fruit, to bear a lot of fruit and much more fruit. We're to keep bearing fruit. Now, how do we do that? So he made it so easy. I'm the branch, I'm the vine, you're the branches. Abide in me. Boom! That's it. Abide in me. You abide in me, and I abide in you. You'll ask what you want, and I'll give it to you. He said, if you abide in me, you will bear much fruit. That's the key. That's the significant key, is that we just stay connected to the vine, the true vine. So that, when we do bear fruit, when others do see Christ in us, when we're able to share Christ and express to them how he's transformed us and how he can transform them, when we do that, he gets all the credit. He gets all the glory because we're simply abiding in the vine. And so it was an absolutely wonderful study of the characteristics of Christ. He is the bread. He is the light. He is the door. He is the good shepherd. He is the resurrection and the life. He is the way, the truth, the life, and he is the true vine. What a great day. I'm sorry you weren't able to be with us, but this little taste of what you missed. Okay.